Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we'll be playing more of the Trial of the Grace seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which whenever we play a unit, it will get damaged by 2 and then boosted by 4, unless it's a Witcher, in which case it will not take the damage, it will only get boosted by 4. Obviously, Witchers are the meta for this event, but Witcher decks haven't changed for almost a year, so in the interest of finding an alternative to playing the same deck over and over, today we'll be trying something very, very different. So we've already made a bunch of Witcher's decks for the Trial of the Grace seasonal event, and if you're interested in that, you can check the description for some more meta deck choices. But if you're sick of playing the same deck repeatedly, and admittedly, I am one of those people, then this could be the deck for you, because we have precisely one Witcher, and it's a Witcher that transforms into an entirely different card. So this definitely is not your average Trial of the Grace's deck. So today we'll be playing a Nilfgaard Imposter deck, built entirely around the Snake. Now, we've included the Snake as a throw-in in some of our previous decks, but to go all-out Snake enters serious troll/meme territory. Basically, the idea is we're going to get as many copies of this card on the board as possible, then at the end of the round, they will all start eating all of the cards in our opponent's graveyard, and once they've done so, they will come back onto the board, giving us a ton of carryover. In Standard, this would be a deck that works if your opponent doesn't have a way to counter it, but if they do, then it immediately gets shut down. The key card to stop it would normally be Karathi Heatwave, which in the Trial of the Grace seasonal event that has a whole bunch of Witchers that can control the board, you don't see that popping up very often, if at all. So the plan is to sneak in with the Snake deck unexpectedly. More specifically, the order of operations will be to play the Snake from our hand directly into our graveyard, and if we do that at the beginning of round 1, there will be no other cards in our graveyard, so it will immediately come onto the board on our opponent's side, with both the Doomed and Spying status. Then we'll use Coup de Grace to create another copy of it, this time on our side of the board. Then if we have Stefan Skellen, we can play another copy of Coup de Grace to create another copy of the Snake. Then we'll purify it with either the Imperial Diviner or with the Pellar to get rid of the Doomed status. That way it can go back into someone's graveyard at the end of the round. Then we'll use Cadaverine to create another copy of it. Then we'll use our leader ability to create another copy of it and lock it. And when we lock the one Snake on our opponent's side, it will go into their graveyard rather than our graveyard at the end of the round. That way you don't need to worry about that Snake coming back to bite you. So it will join all the other Snakes that go into their graveyard at the end of the round, and then eventually in round 2, come back on the board on our side. Then we play Damien to reactivate our leader ability and create another copy of the Snake. Then we use Letho to transform into the Snake, and likewise for Dudu. So then in round 2, once the Snakes eat all the cards in our opponent's graveyard, they will come back onto the board on our side, giving us a ton of carryover. However, when they do that, they will gain the Doomed status, which means that at the end of the round they will get completely destroyed rather than going back into anyone's graveyard. However, once all the Snakes come onto the board in round 2, we can play Siegfried to purify all of those Snakes, so that at the end of round 2, rather than getting completely destroyed, the Snakes go back into our opponent's graveyard, and in round 3, we'll once again eat all the other cards in their graveyard, and once they've done so, come back onto the board on our side, giving us all the carryover again. So there's a look at the deck, and as you can see, we will live and die by the Snake. So our goal is to create as many copies of it as possible to maximize our carryover. That means it is almost always worth playing as many cards as it takes in round 1 to maximize the total number of Snakes, regardless of how many cards we go down, even if our opponent passes early, because eventually those Snakes will come back out in future rounds. This deck is going to be a lot of fun, so let's go see it in action. Alright, so going against Northern Realms here, and they'll go first. Then this is a decent hand, but we need some purification, and a second locker doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. And they'll start with Banard Student, so Northern Realms mages and or witchers. So we'll have to be a little bit careful that they don't have enough damage to destroy a Snake. But let's get the Snake started, and by playing it directly into our graveyard when we have no other cards in our graveyard, it will immediately come out on our opponent's side. Okay, some siege weapons, so not necessarily what we were expecting, but it still means more damage. And we don't have Coup de Grace, so it's okay to immediately purify that Snake, because that means we don't care about spying, but we want to get rid of Doomed. Okay, now Gerhardt, and I really don't like that, because that means they have some potential for lock, some damage, even Yenvo if they're patient enough. So let's not make any Snakes on our side yet, let's just put Oneiromancy at the top of our deck. Okay, for once they played a card that can't deal damage, so that's a good start. So before we break out the sneks, let's see if we can sneak in Stefan. Oh wow, okay, that is more damage. It's not the way I thought they were going to get it, but Onse's combined with everything else would surely be enough to get rid of Stefan. So away he goes. Technically, we have some extra luck, so let's use that on Gerhard. And they'll pass early, so that's big. And now we activate the sneks. Because as I was saying earlier, we don't care about going cards down, since the sneks will give us carryover. So now we use Cadaverine. And that's one snek. And since Fisher King put Oneiromancy at the top of our deck, we drew that with Fercart. So we'll use that to get Damien. So then we'll use our leader ability on the snek, which gives us a snek on our side, but also locks their snek, making it go in their graveyard at the end of the round, which means another snek for us in round 2. Just ignore that warning, because another leader ability means another snek, as does Letho. So we'll win round 1 with 4 sneks on our side, and that one snek locked on their side that will come back on our side in round 2. Okay, so we need Siegfried, but we don't need double lock, and if we Oneiromancy into Siegfried, we don't need Spring Equinox, but we're gonna get it. So now we're just playing throwaway cards until the sneks come back out. And Shawnee better act fast before all those humans get eaten. So there's the first 2 sneks, but we want to wait to play Siegfried until they're all out here. So let's lock this Bernard student. Granted, that lock isn't going to last long because we're probably going to play Siegfried on our next turn. But it at least slows down their damage, because here comes more of that. But now we get the rest of the sneks. So that means this is where we play Siegfried. That way we remove all the doomed statuses on our sneks, allowing them to come back again in round 3. But as we said, it also removed the Bernard student lock, and their damage just keeps on coming. So maybe we use Mahakam Ale to boost up our weakest snek to make it harder to remove. Ooh, Bloody Baron's gonna make it a lot easier for them to destroy one of them, though. And Bernard student did destroy one of them, as expected. Okay, and that snek has enough bleed that it would get destroyed by the end of the round. So let's purify it and at least make them work to destroy it. Yeah, and with bombardment, they may be able to do just that. Oh, but the snek is hanging on! A valiant effort, Senor Snek. You almost had him. Alright, so they'll win round 2, but more importantly, they did destroy a couple of our sneks, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And this hand looks fine. Alright, and if they have Devotion, then that Marine is a decent play. So let's use the Turncoat on it to give it spying and set up Coup de Grace. Okay, an Amphibious Assault is very dangerous. And Selkirk could duel one of our sneks, at least depending on when they come out. Oh no, go straight for the Turncoat, okay. So now let's have Dudu transform into Selkirk. Then they'll have some damage with Ballista, which will weaken Selkirk. So that means Coup de Grace on the Marine, and use that to boost Selkirk. But unfortunately that Marine is the only thing that we can safely remove. So they may think they won. But here comes the sneaky snek surprise, making all of your Uno reverse cards proud. Alright, so going up against Skellige here, and we'll go first. And let's get rid of our second Turncoat. And with the Novice plus Fercart, we can draw into the Snek. So let's get rid of our other Turncoat. And that should do. So let's start with a proactive Stefan. Then we can even curse scroll into either Oneiromancy or the Snek. Let's actually go with the Snek here. In which case the Novice may not be as necessary. Alright, so Ivo will give them some damage, and between that and their leader ability, that is a little bit of cause for concern, because they may be able to destroy a Snek now. So let's lock Ivo. Okay, point slam with the Quartermaster. Now, let's break out the Sneks. Okay, teleportation for another round of Quartermaster orders. Alright, so now I'll show you what happens if you purify the Snek before you use Coup de Grace, because now without spying, Coup de Grace doesn't work on it. Armor up for more points. And now here's the thing, we can use Fercart and maybe get spying on the Snek, but when our opponent has this many units, that's very unlikely, so we'll use Cadaverine instead of Coup de Grace here. And that sets up Stefan with another Cadaverine, but we don't want to do that yet, because that would destroy the Snek before we use our leader ability on it. Fortunately, they pass early, so that gives us time to set up more Sneks without them interfering. And because we purify that spying status before we use Coup de Grace, that means we'll need the Turncoat to put that spying status back on the Snek. And it's not good that we had to do that because Letho and Dudu would have given us additional Sneks, so they would have been our preferred targets. But now we can finally use Coup de Grace. And use Stefan to get another copy of that. And then after trying to correct for that mistake, we left Damien for last, and that's never good because it takes a turn before he can use his order ability. So we'll use our leader ability here to lock their Snek and create another copy on our side. But now, as I said, because we waited so long to play Damien, that means we still need to play a card on this turn if we're going to use Damien's ability. So although we are willing to go cards down with this deck if it means making more Sneks, with better sequencing we could have avoided this. And again, the origin of this domino effect was when we purified the Snek before we used Coup de Grace on it. So I'm being nitpicky, but I wanted to show you what happens when you make this common mistake. So we'll win round 1, but it costs us a Snek and an extra card. Fortunately, we drew into Siegfried here, and that's the key card we need in round 2. But we can probably do better than Mahakam Ale. So start with throwaways until the Sneks come out. And of course, we'll see if they're ready for those Sneks. Because here they come. We don't have all of them yet, so let's wait to play Siegfried. And they'll use their leader ability to try to destroy some of those Sneks, but it is mathematically impossible for them to do so. But they might be going for the Turncoat. So here are the rest of the Sneks, and they have seen enough. They have the best deck in this event, but they'll forfeit. Alright, so going against Nilfgaard here, and they'll go first. And we have some good pieces here. The Snek, Damien, Cadaverine, a lot of lock, and purification. Let's get rid of a Turncoat. Well, then even more lock. Oh, gross. It's Mill. Ooh, and Siegfried is, of course, our most important round 2 card, so that hurts. But maybe we can catch them by surprise with the Snek. Alright, then more Kingslayers. I suppose they're Witchers, so we shouldn't be too surprised. Now let's do Stefan. Who will not last long. So now let's Oneiro into Coup de Grace. Then Brothen's likely to create another copy of the Turncoat. Don't really care about that. Shouldn't be a problem. Then they'll use their leader ability, and that could work well for them, but it also could work well for us. Because playing Damien against Imposter is a great way to lose. But now let's purify their snack, because we don't need spying anymore. Ooh, okay, and leader ability round 2 is definitely more of an issue. Oh, unless they lock the Turncoat rather than our snack. But now they're definitely giving us a taste of our own medicine here. Now it's Cadaverine. And they'll pass, so that gives us the opportunity to create more sneks unimpeded. So let's go with Damien. And our leader ability. That means we can lock one of their sneks, so that'll backfire on them. Then with all of our other locking units, plus the second round of our leader ability, we can lock the other snack. Then, I know we are a carryover deck, but we are going against Mill, so maybe we push a little bit further to take the round 1 win. So we'll do that with 6 snacks ready to come out in round 2. Okay, and the lock is maybe still a little excessive, though that actually could have been useful if they coup de grace our snacks. Let's use the Fisher King before the snacks return, and this is double cross Nilfgaard, so I think they're going to play Cantarella to steal this card, so let's make it a 0-point card. No, it's Squirrel. I don't think we needed anything in our graveyard. So now let's Fercart into Mahakam Ale. So now joke's on us, because we gave ourselves a 0-point card to draw. And of course, now they play Cantarella. And Letho is one of our better cards. Fortunately, they don't have any great units to transform into. But that actually was good timing, because that means they just missed the opportunity to transform into one of the snacks, because that would have been more dangerous. And here come all of them. So I guess we spring Equinox here, and maybe we decide we don't even need Siegfried. But naturally, that means we still have a couple of snacks with spying, so they can hit one of those with Coup de Grace. But that's actually kind of helpful, because now we can Oneiromancy into our other Spring Equinox, purify the rest of our snacks, and after playing those special cards, Fercart gives spying to the one opposing unit that did not already have it, their snack. They do steal a card from our graveyard with Vilgefortz. They gave us teleportation, but I'm not sure what they took. But anyways, now their snack has spying, so we can use Coup de Grace on that, giving us a total of 7 snacks. That's 77 points of carryover for round 3. Though they may be back to using our strategy against us. Okay, Cadaverine is what they took from us, and they have Stefan, so they can play it twice and destroy one of our snacks in the process. And create 2 more on their side. But don't worry, we will not be out-snacked. And getting back their leader ability doesn't help when we have no cards in our hand, but they still need at least 15 points with their last card. And Aguara gives them the Runestone. I don't think that's going to be enough. It's just a Turncoat, and that's just 6 points. So that means we'll outscore them here in round 2 for the 2-0 win. Alright, so going up against Scoia'tael here. And we'll go first. Okay, so we have some big cards like the Snack, Damien, and Letho, and we can use Menno Royal Decree to get Siegfried in round 2 if needed. That means we don't need Spring Equinox. And those were some nice pickups, so this looks good. Let's start with the snack. Then the Trial of the Grass is it? Okay. Now let's go Fercart into Coup de Grace. Then they'll do Scoia'tael, probably for Cat Witchers. Yes, indeed. Now our problem is we want to play Stefan next, but they can use their leader ability to move him out of the range row where he can no longer use his ability. Yeah, and that's exactly what they do here. I mean, we had to try. Then it's movement setup with Dolbeth on the sentry. So we can't do any more Coup de Grace, which means it is now safe to purify the snack. And of course, eventually we will want to play Damien to get our leader ability back, but he is another row-locked unit, so we'll try to delay him as much as possible and hope that they use their remaining leader ability charges in the meantime. Meanwhile, they play an early Gezras. But now let's use Dudu to transform into another snack. Dwarf Berserker is kind of weird. He has more boost in this case, but he loses some of his armor, so less damage. So now let's Menno into Cadaverine. They will get some damage with the Cat Witcher Saboteur. I don't think it's enough to jeopardize any of the snacks, but we'll see. This won't make a snack, but Gezras' adrenaline is about to kick in, so why don't we lock him? Ooh, okay, yes. Use your other charge as well. Ah, nah, it's just to set up Brayan, and that's actually very well played, because obviously that gets rid of one of our snacks. Okay, we can only delay Damien for one more turn, so let's go with Letho here. And that means we really want them to use their last leader ability charge on this turn. Yeah, but if they use Scoia'tael, they probably won't. And that sets up a nice Cat Witcher Mentor finisher. Okay, so let's use Curse Scroll to get Oneiromancy. That'll give us Siegfried in round 2, so no need for Spring Equinox. But now it has to be Damien, so I think we just hope that given their big lead that they pass. We'll definitely go with our leader ability here. But if our opponent chooses to play, and they do, then we knew this was probably going to happen. So we delayed it as much as possible, but they still had a leader ability charge, so they were able to disable Damien. But we did force them to play their Jurden. And we're out of snack sources, so we'll save Oneiromancy. That means they'll win round 1, so we're counting on our 5 snack carryover to win us both round 2 and round 3. Alright, and we have our way to get Siegfried, so this hand looks fine. Okay, the Matron means probably more Cat Witchers or other movement cards. So let's use the Turncoat to give it spying and set up some damage. And as expected, it's a Cat Witcher. But now the first couple snacks start to come out. Why don't we lock one of these units? Obviously, Siegfried will purify it later on, but it's still at least one less turn of it dealing damage. Okay, so they might get something big with Oneiro. Man, how many Cat Witchers do they have? And here are the rest of the snacks. So now let's use our Oneiromancy to get Siegfried and purify all of our snacks. And we have a huge lead here, and Dolbathon the Sentry is not going to change that. So even after their movement, we'll take the round 2 win. And at this point, pretty much all of our points are going to come from our sneks, so we'll make do with this hand. So let's use Oneiromancy to get something out there. And they'll go with the bold first turn Leo. They may have a hand of entirely finishers. Let's do some bleed here. Then the Dwarven Chariot shouldn't really be a problem. And here come the rest of the sneks. So now we'll go Thanedd Turncoat. Then their last card is Gaetan, not so great in a short round. And remember, they destroyed one of our sneks, so they do have one in our graveyard. So let's play here just to be safe, because as we saw before, you don't mess with a surprise snek. Because there it goes, but even with that snek, we will still take the win. So there's a look at a Nilfgaard snek deck for the new Trial of the Grasses seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.